Thanks for joining us on another edition of National Focus. I'm your presenter, Tasia Floissac. In the headlines, the first 20,000 banana plantlets enter the hardening phase. The Dominica Labour Party Government presents $60,000 to the Colihaut Village Council and a new tourism centre for Capuchin. Details of our headline stories and more after this.
You're watching GIS.
Thanks for staying with us. The first 20,000 of 60,000 Cavendish banana plantlets received from France in April are now entering the hardening phase. GIS News was there on Monday when technical experts of the Ministry of Agriculture moved the plants into plotting bags after 6 weeks of weaning. This took place at the China Dominica Modern Agriculture Station in 1 Mile Portsmouth. A Chinese agricultural mission operates from that facility, which houses 7 greenhouses and an open demonstration field. Ryan Ansem is head of the Plant Protection and Quarantine Unit of the Ministry of Agriculture. He explained what has taken place so far since the plantlets arrived on island.
The process was basically putting it in seedling trays on a daily basis, giving it the required fungicide and misting. And the process, as you can see, it's a very successful process. And we are now in the stage of hardening the plants, and that will take 6 weeks.
The Cavendish variety of bananas is not black sigatoka resistant, and Ansem says they must be protected from pests and disease. These bananas are for sale on the UK market where it is preferred. For the next 6 weeks, the plants will be hardened before final replanting on larger holdings.
These plants will be put in 5 greenhouses, and they will go through the hardening stage, where we will give them the necessary nutrients and foliage nutrient and pesticide to prevent any infection.
Honorable Agriculture Minister Johnson Drago explained that selected farmers of Casa Bruce and Calibishi will be responsible for the hardened plants.
We selected Calibishi and Casa Bruce because this project is being sponsored by the European Union through the Banana Company Measures Program, the BAM, and these are the 2 areas where we have the irrigation project sponsored by the EU. We are rapidly into selecting the farmers. As a matter of fact, by the end of the week, the 20 farmers, 10 from each of the areas, will be decided upon. The farmers will be informed, the other farmers will be informed, and we'll be working with these farmers to prepare their holdings for receiving these plantlets.
The Banana Accompanying Measures or BAM program of the European Union is funding the purchase and shipment of the plants. According to Honorable Drago, BAM is also supplying inputs to the 20 farmers who will grow the plants. He revealed that to avoid delays, government is already prepared to provide the necessary inputs so the farmers can begin immediately after the hardening process. This venture is part of government's integrated plan to revitalize the banana sector. The initiative's success so far is largely credited to the European Union and the Chinese government. In more news, on Monday, May 19th, Parliamentary Representative for the Colihaut constituency, Honorable Catherine Daniel, presented a cheque of $60,000 to the Colihaut Village Council. Honorable Daniel, who is also Minister for Social Services, says the Dominica Labour Party administration is committed to seeing the fulfillment of projects in communities like Colihaut.
It's always a pleasure when you have goodies to deliver to your constituents. And I am so privileged, first of all, to be serving the constituency of Colihaut. Dubla and Bioche, part of that constituency. On behalf of myself, the parliamentary representative, and the government of Dominica, the Dominica Labour Party Government, I'd like to present to the chairman of the village council a check in the sum of $60,000 which is just, it's not small, but it will go a long way. And I think this is a great sign for our community. And our constituents should rest assured that they're not forgotten. We're working on them. There will be more to come. But as we travel the road of constituency empowerment, we start that way by doing this.
Last week, the Colihaut Village Council also received a $60,000 contribution from the government of Dominica. Honorable Daniel indicated that these funds are allocated for the improvement of housing, development of small businesses, medical assistance for constituents, and beautification, among other projects in these communities. The donation was well received by Chairman of the Colihaut Village Council, Jimmy George.
On behalf of myself, the Village Council, and the community, we would like to thank the Honourable Minister, Ms. Catherine Daniel, for making this check available in such a timely manner, because there are so many things that need to be done in the community. And just receiving that $60,000, yes, it might not be much, but it's a lot of money. There's a lot of things that will be done after just receiving that check. There's a lot of work and a lot of people that need assistance. So once again, and we also like to thank the DLP party, Dominica Labour Party, which is in government, for making this check possible. So once again, Ms. Daniel, thank you so much.
Residents of the culturally rich and northernmost community of Capuchin got their tourism reception center on Monday, a joint effort of the European Union and the government of Dominica. This center, which will serve as a hub for information about Cana, will also aid in promoting tourism-related aspects of the community. Additionally, the Ministry of Tourism says the facility was designed as the main administrative center for the Capuchin Tourism Group and will be used for a base for dispatching tours to attractions in the area because of its placement between segment 13 and 14 of the National Trail. According to Technical Officer Emmeline Humphreys, the structure is only one phase.
The development of the park has been considered for advancement or enhancement through a phased approach. So the center is actually part of phase 1. Other phases will follow, where the group will undertake to construct washroom facilities, which will also be used by trail users, a restaurant, and other amenities as deemed necessary.
Close to $340,000 was invested into the two-floor structure made of local wood and stone. This is in addition to another $300,000 spent to purchase the property where the Heritage Park now sits. Local historian and coordinator of the Capuchin Tourism Group, Dr. Lennox Honeychurch, revealed that in the history of the structure lies a British signal station.
This building here was the signalman's barracks. So they lived here, and when the project was beginning, these walls that are the original walls that had fallen apart were recreated. Mark here had great experience at the Cabrits. He'd been at the Cabrits since he was about 15 years old working on the project. So he has the skill of putting stones together in this way. And so we have the original size. So it was determined not by an architect. The architect followed what was there. So we have the original size of the building and the layout of the building on the same spot. And then these other things, the woodwork and so, were added on.
According to the Honourable Parliamentary Representative Reginald Austrie, the next obvious step is to capitalize on the new, larger tourism product which now exists in the north.
It's one constituency, and each of those hamlets have a different product to offer. So at the Cabrits, you have the cruise ship berth, that's where the cruise ship comes in. Then you have the coal soufre on the other side. Then you have the Tantan development, which calls for more scuba diving and marine activities. And then you come to Tukari, where you have the nice beach and you have the entertainment, you have the restaurant. And then you can come up to Capuchin and do something, then continue the trail and go to Penville and back. So I see Cana as really locking the entire north of the country from the Cabrits to Penville. And so sometimes in our planning, our thinking, we must not just home in on Capuchin, but we must also use the other areas and use other activities to enhance the potential that Capuchin itself have. And I believe that if we can tie all these communities, we may be in a better position to secure funding we need for joint activities rather than going selfishly and going alone.
For the Honorable Tourism Minister Robert Tung, the center means more tourism dollars for all.
Last year in 2014, persons spent $340 million in Dominica. Anyone coming to Dominica must eat, must drink. If we say at least 20% of what they spend goes towards food, it means that over $68 million would have been contributed towards persons purchasing food. That goes to agriculture, that goes to fish, that goes to pork, that goes to poultry. So everybody truly benefits from tourism. Tourism is truly everybody's business. And even if you don't directly are employed, someone that you know is indirectly employed. The person doing tours, even the person in the bank. Some people may say a person in the bank, they have nothing to do with tourism. But the tourism money goes into the bank, which also creates jobs. Community tourism is extremely important to us because the members of the community have to benefit from tourism. Too many times you see the big hotels or the big restaurants are the ones who truly benefit from this. But we as the individuals have to benefit. And when we benefit from tourism, obviously we take better care of our tourism product.
Capuchin is the third community this month to get facilities to boost community tourism and employment. Loda was the first to receive a floating jetty and 4 boats for the freshwater lake, and Marigot got its Tourism Information Center just last week. These projects are funded by the 10th tranche of the European Development Fund. According to the fund's local authorizing officer, Colin Roberts, the 10th EDF was designed for budgetary support, of which tourism is a large part.
The European Union is and has been a true development partner with the Commonwealth of Dominica. The European Union has provided support to our development in many different ways. Particularly, tourism has been a beneficiary of a significant quantum of EU resources. Under the 10th European Development Fund Multi-Sector General Budget Support Programme, the EU supported the implementation of the Growth and Social Protection Strategy. Specifically, funds were provided to the government of the Commonwealth of Dominica to attain growth in the economy, which will generate jobs and reduce poverty.
Roberts adds that communities are just beginning to see the benefits which community tourism can have on both tourism and employment.
All proposals received by the Ministry of Tourism emphasized well-researched potential effects, as these projects were expected to positively impact the number of people directly benefiting from ecotourism and increased employment in the sector. The proposal submitted on your behalf was extremely well detailed and well thought out. I read the project document myself and I can attest to that. It clearly articulated both the short and long-term benefits of the project, which makes the project feasible. You, the villagers here, and other stakeholders deserved and were indeed fortunate to be one of the selected beneficiaries of the 10th EDF program.
You're watching National Focus. Still to come, the Nature Enhancement Team, NET, is working for a national cause.
Did you know the Caribbean Court of Justice is 2 courts in 1? The CCJ has 2 functions: an original jurisdiction, which deals with your right to move between CARICOM countries freely and your right to move your money and your business. This is the basis of the CARICOM Single Market and Economy, CSME, and the revised Treaty of Chaguaramas, and an appellate jurisdiction to hear appeals from courts of those countries which decide to use it as their final court of appeal and no longer go to the Privy Council. All CARICOM member states who have signed the agreement establishing the CCJ are members of the CCJ.
Welcome back. A small community-based group in Rosalie is working tirelessly for a cause of national interest. The Nature Enhancement Team, or NET, is doing just what its name suggests, not just for Rosalie, but for the country which considers itself the nature island.
Our general objective, as we say, to enhance nature. So we're really concerned about the environment. We have primary responsibility for the Rosalie Beach, but as well, we are responsible for the nature trail that provides public access to the Rosalie Beach.
NET is a part of a network of similar groups around the island brought together by the Dominica Sea Turtle Conservation Organization, DOMSETCO, which represents Dominica in the wider Caribbean Sea Turtle Network, WIDECAST. About 15 people comprise the Nature Enhancement Team, which is successfully getting its message across in the community and at schools. Meanwhile, 4 members take shift patrolling the Rosalie Beach throughout the night during nesting season, which runs from March until August. Besides the all-important mission of protecting Dominica's natural resource and the 3 endangered species which nest here, the Nature Enhancement Team is doing its part for community employment.
The strategy for us is, in protecting the turtles and working with the communities, is to provide opportunities for income generation, right? So part of our members are involved in providing services like hospitality services. When we have guests, they overnight in the guest houses. They provide food and drinks. We're involved, like I say, in the schools in outreach activities. So some of our members are not involved directly in the turtle research and conservation program on the beach, but they're involved in other activities associated with the program of the group.
The group president says turtles have allowed them to find their niche in an area dominated by agriculture-based livelihoods.
The idea is to find alternatives and so on. So and that's the thrust in Dominica now for tourism, but we're developing a new brand of tourism, community tourism, nature tourism. And the turtles give us what I would say is comparative advantage, because we're very fortunate. We have 3 species of endangered turtles coming to nest on our beach. They don't come to Roseau, they don't come to Trafalgar. Yeah, we can't compete with you with waterfalls. But if you want to see the turtles and you want to have a turtle experience, come to Rosalie.
According to George, government support to the group has allowed them to do more for turtle conservation and community awareness.
The NEP program, and thank God for NEP. That has been a major, major, major help for us. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough. Okay, and I'm very, very grateful.
The Nature Enhancement Team sees its work in their own corner of the island as a contributor to Dominica's image as the nature isle of the Caribbean, and George sees a bright future for the group. And finally, closing the curtains on Numeracy Week last week, the Grand Bay Primary School played its part in the Ministry of Education's drive to increase appreciation for mathematics at all schools by its hosting of the Southern District Math Festival. There, a total of 14 schools in the district converged to showcase what they have produced during Numeracy Week under the theme Exploring the World of Mathematics. Throughout that week, other schools across the island also held exhibitions, math competitions, and other creative activities to commemorate the week. Chief Education Officer Melina Fountain says contrary to popular belief, mathematics is important for everyday life.
When we say that each child succeeds, we mean that each student must be given the opportunity to excel to his or her potential in all aspects of learning, including the fundamentals of numeracy. It is our firm belief that improving numeracy levels within the education system must be part of our national strategy, as it is our mission to equip all students to live independent, satisfying, and rewarding lives, and to participate as active and informed citizens in our society.
Fontaine emphasized the ministry's vision that every child must succeed.
Every day, in some form or another, we have to think, we have to communicate quantitatively, we have to make sense of data, and we have to apply mathematical reasoning to solve problems. If you go to the credit union or the bank, you will be asked for your account number or for you to swipe your card and put in the PIN number. You must know your mathematics. The person who is unable to do these things is going to be dependent on others, and that is not always to that person's benefit.
The gathering was also treated to a few creative performances by students of the Grand Bay Primary and the Pearchild Secondary Schools. Numeracy Week was observed from May 11th to 15th, 2015. And that's the English news. McPherson St. Luce is next with the Creole highlights.
Alors tout le monde, bienvenue à cette nouvelle en créole. Non, moi c'est McPherson St. Luce. Premièrement, ministère Télécoms Honorable Kelvin Darrow représentait Dominique en grand meeting Ectel qui prend place en Saint-Lucie. Selon ministre Darrow, plusieurs bagages qui concernent la compagnie là discuter.
Moi sorti un meeting pour le ministère Ectel. Ça c'est ministère country Saint Lucie, Grenada, St. Vincent and Grenadines, Dominique et puis St. Kitts Nevis. Et puis ça c'est un meeting pour le ministère Télécoms. Et puis nous avons discuté bien Ectel. Ectel c'est un body qui régulate comment ces service providers qui font un price pour faire un téléphone call, pour envoyer un text message ou WhatsApp message, et tout bagage ça là, au Telecoms. Et puis, au meeting ça là, nous avons parlé de un merger qui fait entre Cable and Wireless et puis Columbus. Ça c'est un merger nous avons attention plus en country Saint Lucie, Grenada et puis St. Vincent et puis Grenadines. Yo pas les faire en monopole encore.
Ministre Darrow dit ça fait monopole ces bagages qui pas en l'intérêt citoyen.
Ça m'a dit c'est ça. Si on est en monopole, ces consommateurs là, yo pas que profiter. Mais ça pas affecter nous en Dominique, plus en Dominique, nous ni ces service providers et puis ça pas affecter nous. Mais ça nous dit Ectel pour faire, on est pour acide et puis ces service providers et puis parler puis yo plus nous laisser consommateurs là, c'est monde là qui a payé pour téléphone là, pour internet là, pour télévision service là. Yo n'est pour buy un bel price. Yo n'est pour buy open market pour une competition ou ces places là.
En la nouvelle, le gouvernement Dominique ni plan pour l'hôpital à Marigot. Parole celle-là sortie au ministère Santé, Honorable Dr. Kenneth Darrow.
Well, Marigot, comme Dominique, le gouvernement Dominique toujours allait manifester le Labour Party, nous avons un hôpital neuf pour Marigot, mais comme nous devons parler de l'hôpital neuf PMH, nous avons calculé que nous avons pensé que très difficile, non? Faire de l'hôpital ensemble. C'est ça, nous avons travaillé, ça ministère est d'accord. Pendant nous pas ça faire l'hôpital neuf Marigot, nous recommandons ça improve en les saki là, parce que de toute forme que nous besoin que ces services là de santé meilleur. Est-ce que là nous commencer l'hôpital neuf là, parce que l'hôpital neuf là qu'elle fait le même site là en Goodwill. So nous avons commencé Kumaram, Sakalni, yon interruption à la service. So nous avons demandé ces districts actuellement pour pick up ça là qui nous savent qui fait la construction commencer à l'hôpital neuf là. So nous avons regardé trois différentes options à Marigot pour comment nous meilleur ces services là.
En notre nouvelle division welfare en collaboration avec le département qui est responsable pour la protection des enfants, tient nos consultations et puis officier chef religion lundi. Consultation là mettez attention à ces manières pour sensibiliser ces officiers là, bagaille qui concerne abusement négligent et puis responsabilité ces officiers là, manière pour protéger ces enfants là. Quand même si le chef département pour protection des enfants, GIS Luce, tout le monde supposé venir à bord et puis on seule voix, gommer en compte mauvais bagaille ça. Louis Couy a assisté officier religion là pour voir une commission bien claire pour ces mauvais élèves salam qui activité ça là pas acceptable en société là. Chef officier welfare Leroy Morvan fait parole que l'église là n'est pas très important pour jouer pour empêcher l'abusement des enfants. Et puis finalement, le département qui est responsable pour empêcher la drogue, bien concerné la manière environnementale qui a affecté, pendant que la police a brûlé consommer de drogue, il a saisi. Parole ça l'a sorti au officier du département Malcolm Saint-Rose. Saint-Rose, one man qui a complémenté la police pour FOIA combattre la drogue illégale en pays là.
Mon concern contre la manière là nous destruction là nous fait la journée là. Si vous regardez toute place là, nous ici, ça passe à bon pour l'environnement là. So, mon gars qui est assis, c'est mon là qui est responsable. Pour garder pour manière pour nous pour ça destroyer ces drogues là qui est plus meilleur pour l'environnement. Donc garder ça en more environmentally friendly manner. Eh ben, nous really content pour ça fait et puis il faut la payer parce que on le monde qui souffre. Là nous garder là oui nous avons un peu de jeunes hommes, jeunes filles, les filles là, qui marchent, monter, descendre, rien pour faire. Pourtant, ils ne laissent plus pas là. Bon dire bon ça, parce que au plus de drogue là, nous avons là, presque 9, 90 ou 98% ça, c'est pas même pour Dominique. Nous avons spill over la monde, passer des voies en petite activité. Mais si tout ça était atteint pour Dominique, nous avons listé pas. So, mon content Dominique en pays qui moins assis dans la consommation illégale de drogue. Pour le monde Dominique qui a drogue, ça semble que nous avons mené attention à l'aide. Nous avons développé un plan d'action au pays là. Nous avons adressé concerns contre l'alcool et l'autre drogue là.
Messieurs et mesdames, ça c'est tout pour nouvelle en créole. Pour à présent, nous moi c'est McPherson Luce. Au revoir.
Coming up next, your tip of the day.
Get in and fasten your seatbelt, okay?
Mom, why do I have to wear seatbelts? I do not want to.
James, when I ask you to fasten your seatbelt, please do as I say. It's for your own safety and protection, okay?
Yeah.
Protect yourself, protect the child. Always fasten your seatbelt. Crashes can happen at any time. It is better to be safe than sorry. Remember, seatbelts save lives. A message brought to you by the Violence and Injury Surveillance System Committee in collaboration with the Pan American Health Organization.
There are many little things we can do every day to play a small part in preserving the natural resources, reducing waste, promoting health, and even cleaning the air. One of these is parking in the shade. Gasoline sitting in your car's tank evaporates into the air and on hot days evaporates even faster. Volatile gases from evaporating gasoline are key components of smog, which contributes to asthma and other respiratory problems. Parking in the shade will reduce the amount of gasoline that evaporates, reducing air pollution and even saving you money. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS News Dominica, and follow our Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscast on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Tasia Floissac. Thanks for watching, and do join us again next time on National Focus.
The Grand Bay Village Council presents Fête Isidore 2015, a celebration of culture and achievement. Come be part of Dominica's grandest village feast from May 21st to the 25th. Fête Isidore in South City, Grand Bay. It's the Feast of St. Isidore 2015 in Grand Bay. See you there.